Hi everybody, welcome to Rochdale Hornets Rugby League Club's club webinar. It's a club update tonight. I want to thank everybody for joining us, both the fans and the general rugby league community. We've got five main announcements, big announcements for Rochdale Hornets that we're really keen to share with you tonight. And without further ado, I will let you know who the panelists are tonight. We've got Chairman Andy Mazey, Tony Sheridan, our director, myself, Steve Kerr. I'll be presenting as much as possible, but ably assisted by the panelists. We've got Matt Calland, our head coach. Josh McAllister has joined us as our media manager, and hopefully a little bit later on, Alex Orange, representing the Supporters Association. So a really good full lineup for tonight. Really excited about the stuff we're going to be talking to you guys about, and just want to cover a couple of housekeeping rules before we get started. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, which is the second time we've done that. We have held a webinar earlier towards the beginning of lockdown, but we've learned a little bit from that, so hopefully everything goes as smooth as possible. And we're going to invite questions throughout, so you can either ask the questions live through Facebook, and we'll pick them up from there, no problem. And alternatively, you can, if you're on the webinar itself, you can type a question on the Q&A, and we'll pick that up. We also have an additional feature where you can raise your hand, and we will basically dial you into the panelists. And what we'll do with the questions is after every major section, we'll hopefully invite a few questions, and then right at the end, there'll always be time for a few more. So without further ado, we're on to our club update, and if I can pass over to Andy for the first thoughts for the night.
We'll start again. I'll just unmute. There we go. We'd learned from the last one apparently, but I clearly haven't done. Sorry about that. Yeah, good evening. As Steve said, just welcoming everybody to this second Rochdale Hornets webinar. I think I can't start anywhere else other than really to say thank you to our loyal supporters and obviously our club partners and sponsors, because I think the fact that we're all here now and still around to tell the tale at this point in the year is a testament to the big effort that everybody's pulled together and we've come up with. From the understanding of Steve and Matt having to go on the furlough scheme, the understanding of the players who had to use the furlough scheme, and everybody really collectively, one big sort of Hornets family. We've managed to safeguard the club and get to a position where we're now talking about 2021, albeit the uncertainty continues, and we're still in the midst of the pandemic. We have crossed one bridge in that we've got through the 20 season. We're at a point where now we've been active in doing everything that you're going to hear tonight, and I'm really proud that we've all stayed together. The supporters, as I keep saying, you've all backed us in every way that you could. Partners and sponsors, again, absolutely massive effort. And I think, that combined with the efforts of the board and the efforts of everybody connected with the club has sat us where we are right now. I think in terms of that leading on, the current position, I'd mapped out a bit of a statement to make tonight to everybody. And Boris kindly ripped that up for me on Saturday night because he's put us back in lockdown. So the initial planning and things that we were looking to do have now gone a little bit out of the window, and we're sort of going to be, we're reacting to that, and we're being reactive and waiting on a big meeting on Thursday with the RFL, in all honesty. So I'm sure Matt will talk to you about, we were looking forward to getting Matt back off the furlough scheme, and we should have been training on the 9th and getting the boys back in and all the staff back in. But that said, we're working hard now to establish what the position's going to be, when we can do that, and everything's in place and ready to go when we can get Matt back and staff back, and obviously Steve back off furlough as well. So that's the latest position. It's not as entertaining or as thrilling as what it would have been if Boris not locked us down again. But yeah, I can only tell you where we are and what the actual position is, and that's going to be heavily determined by Thursday's RFL Clubs Forum, which we're looking forward to, because it gives us the opportunity to put some pressure on Ralph and the exec team to get us some answers from government, and hopefully give us a roadmap how we get through this latest set of restrictions, shall we call them. So I think in terms of that, we've said thank you, which is very important. I'll just say it again. I really do appreciate your support from myself and the board. We can't thank you enough, and hopefully that can continue. And I think Steve can give us a quick overview of the financials and where we are with the commercials, etc. If he doesn't mind, because I know he's got that information from the board, so he can just sort of update on that, if you don't mind, Steve.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. And not to go into too much detail around the finances, but obviously to say, in part because of the generosity of the fans and the sponsors, we were able to retain a very, very large percentage of the season ticket revenue, and we wouldn't be as in a stronger financial position had you guys not been so generous and supported your club. So we are massively appreciative of that, as Andy's already mentioned. And so there was 88% in the end of fan season tickets that were donated back. And why that was important was not only to allow us to replan and reforecast our finances for next year, but it also built up a little bit of a bank balance that we can carry forward into next season, so that we can deal with some of the uncertainties. And we were in a fortunate and a nice position that we were also able to claim a small VAT refund this quarter as well, which has obviously helped, and that was due to the donations greatly received. So we were keen to share that information. The club, despite being in the pandemic that we all know is challenging, is in a stable financial position. But we're certainly not out of the woods, and we are absolutely dealing with a few uncertainties moving forward. So we have to be cautious in our approach to planning and spending next year, and we'll touch on that a little bit, if you like, around sort of the information of returning to train and returning to play. On the commercials, I think the pandemic again has been a challenge, in that 2020 we only played one league game, as you well know, and as a result of that, we didn't get the opportunity to develop and continue to strengthen sponsorship relationships by inviting them to the stadium, having a great day out with the guys at the club, and seeing some fantastic rugby that we know Matt and the lads will put out there. So we didn't get that opportunity, and of course every business that we know is being affected by this. So it's a very difficult marketplace for us to operate at the moment commercially. That said, we are and we have taken our time. We have had the support of our existing sponsors, and we are in the market for new sponsors. And so we're just at the stage now of finalising all of our kit sponsors for next year before turning our attention to other sponsors and partners. And tonight you'll see a few new partnerships being announced and launched as well. So by no means a position that we couldn't navigate through, but at the same time it has been challenging to operate commercially. And I think one of the things that we're keen to stress to the fans and to anybody else that's listening out there as well, that this is a great club moving forward. Andy and the board have come in. Matt's doing a fantastic job building a squad, and there's a real sense of unity around the place as we move forward into the future. So this is a fantastic opportunity for new sponsors to come on board with us, advertise, market with us, get on board with the journey that we're embarking on collectively. And so if anybody has networks out there and they want to introduce a business, no matter how big or small, or they know somebody that's interested in rugby league, we're absolutely the right club. We want to be involved, and we want to increase our commercial portfolio. So that's something that we'd encourage everybody to have a look within their own networks, and then get in contact with myself. and I'm sure we'll look after you and your friends and your networks absolutely brilliantly heading into the 2021 season. So as a wrap up, I guess the take home there is, yes, it's been difficult. We have made some progress, and we're just in the process of finalising those commercial partners for one of our premium properties, as you well know, our kit for next season. Andy, I hope that captures everything, but wondering if you can give us a bit of an update on the return to play situation. You mentioned a little bit in the general game update.
Yeah, in terms of return to play, again, I'd reiterate what I've said previously there. It's going to be hopefully a little bit of clarity around that, a bit further detail on the meeting on Thursday with the RFL. So, at the moment, that is something that we've not got anything locked in and set in stone. And the latest restrictions and things that have come about have obviously changed that position from what we thought it was going to be. So I've not great news on that. I think the only thing I can say is we're expecting, the meeting to be really productive on Thursday. And what the consensus of clubs will be is that we really want to push to lock in a start date on the season, get that agreed as soon as possible. And, we're pretty hopeful that, even worst case scenario, if we had to start the season for a couple of games behind closed doors, then hopefully by April we will be in a position to get some crowds back and be playing in front of the supporters again. So in terms of an actual start dates and what the season looks like and structure, etc., can't give too much detail because I've not got it. If I had it, I would share that. But hopefully after Thursday we will know a bit more, and certainly when we're at a stage where we can put something out publicly on that, we will do so, because it's important that the supporters know and the stakeholders and the partners know that, when they're realistically going to be seeing rugby league again. I think one thing I would like to say is, behind the scenes, we're talking about, every eventuality and different scenarios, and even very worst case, if we did start behind closed doors, we'd be looking to invest in a facility where we could give the supporters access to that, that via a stream, so that if you do buy a season ticket, you're guaranteed to be able to see the games. And likewise, if you would normally pay on the gate, you can still access that facility then by a stream. So that's worst case scenario. But, we operate the business as prudent as we can do. We've got to look at all eventualities. And I think the transparency and the levels of detail that we put out to our fans is as good as what I've seen from any club. And I think it's only important, it's only right that we talk about worst case scenarios and make people aware of what that could be. And, equally, we understand that we're doing everything possible to get back out there and get it in front of the supporters where we can.
Thanks, Andy. I've got a question. It might be tongue-in-cheek from Calland Linford, this, and I'll just read it out to you, Andy. It's a little bit what you touched on there. If the RFL were to make the championship back to 14 league teams with someone going up to the Super League, would Rochdale apply, or would they rather go up by winning the league?
I think we'd certainly be throwing a hat in the ring. We make no mistake about it. We're an ambitious club, and we've always tempered our ambition with reality. But certainly, our hat will be going in the ring. Yeah, we'd want to win. Also, automatic promotion. We want to win the right on the field if we can, but we do believe we've got everything in place to progress. So if that opportunity came about, then certainly the hat would go in the ring. Yeah.
And I've got a question from Ian. Ian, you should be unmuted now if you want to ask that to myself or Andy.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me, guys?
I can, mate, loud and clear.
Yeah, good. First of all, I'd like to thank all you guys for coming, fronting up like this. It's something we've never had for many, many moons, so it's great to have this sort of feedback. Andy, I think last time that we had the webinar, it was the actual day that the government announced there was 16 million given to Rugby League for distribution. Has the club tapped into that at all?
No, short answer, Ian, we've not. No, we looked at the option, we looked at the terms, but we've not taken that up. I think I remember your question, to be fair, on the last webinar, and I think the answer at that time was that we wouldn't want to create liabilities and extend the company's liabilities, the club's liabilities. We've worked hard to position everything the best we could with a combination of support, again, from you guys, the fans, partners, the government furlough scheme. We've positioned ourselves as best we could, and we just feel we want to be masters of our own destiny, not borrowing money. And I think the right route for this club is for us all to work hard, all stick together and generate whatever revenue we need to get through rather than borrow the money.
I think that's very good, actually. We don't want to burden us. Whether it is interest bearing or not, it's still going to be repaid back. Just on the funding, Andy, I'm assuming that because of the destruction this year, the actual clarity of funding going forward, I know 2021's always been a sort of grey area, what's going to happen. And is there any movement on that at all? Central funding, I mean. Again,
in terms of beyond the current Sky TV deal, there's quite a bit of things going into the media and speculation, etc. But we don't know anything. The honest answer at the moment is we still don't know what the Sky TV deal is going to look like, or if it's a Sky TV, whether it's another broadcaster. We don't know what that is, so that's still uncertain. In terms of current distribution, we've received our agreed distributions all year this year. We are, however, aware that there is going to be a cut on next year's. So for 2021 season, we're anticipating, we've budgeted around a figure that we were advised would be sensible, and we've had to adjust our budgets accordingly. We do know that there is a definite cut. The actual percentage isn't determined, but we've got a rough idea. So we know that the last year of the current TV funding, Sky agreement, is next year, is cut. Beyond that, we've no certainty as to whether it will be, whether it be a full sort of rip it up and start again. And we just don't know. In a nutshell, don't know what that's going to look like as yet.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ian. If you would mind just dropping your hand as well. Cheers. So we'll move on, and I'm really pleased. We'll start with our first of 5 announcements for the club. And Andy just talked a little bit about, what does it look like when we eventually do get back to play. Well, what we do know is that once we are allowed fans back into the stadium, we have to be ready. And there's an awful lot of work going on behind the scenes in order for us to be compliant with both the health and safety regulations centred around stadium management plan. But one of the key ingredients to make that happen is to have a ticketing partner. And so we're massively impressed with the guys that we've chosen this year in future ticketing to come on board with us and support us with our ticketing centre for next year. And there's a number of really important and key things to understand as part of this. And this is a little bit about Rochdale Hornets growing as a business. And what I want to share with you is the rationale for why we're doing it. Obviously, it's centered a little bit around COVID-19, but it's got huge upsides, loads of benefits to the club. And I want to get it into the mindset of our listeners and our fans that we do live in a digital world. We are having to move forward. We are having to think very differently. But this and what future ticketing can do with us and for us is something that I've been very, very impressed with working with the guys early on. The first thing to say is, as per the picture, it will be a scanned-in system. You will be able to scan in using your tickets. There'll be a barcode on the ticket, and you can scan in via fixed points at the stadium in turnstiles, but you might also be able to scan in via mobile devices that we would have, say, for example, in the atrium of the stadium when you arrive for hospitality. And what I'm keen to stress here is this is a really easy customer journey for getting in touch with us, purchasing a ticket, or indeed even getting a season ticket. It's as simple as selecting a date or selecting the event, purchasing your ticket, confirming and paying for it, and then attending the event. So there's a little bit of why choose future ticketing. Well, for us as a business, it's going to help us understand our fans and their behaviours and their purchasing behaviours just that little bit better. It's going to help us build a bigger CRM system, customer database, which for those of you who are savvy and you've listened to me before about how our distribution flows down from the RFL into the club, we have to demonstrate back to the RFL that we've got stable databases, large databases where we can interact with customers on a regular basis. And so this will definitely help us be informed about who you are, who's coming to our games, and we'll look to build our data presence moving forward. Some of the nice features is it is a cashless operation. So we will be effectively removing the whole pay on the gate type scenario. That has risks in itself. But moving to a cashless operation does help the club in terms of a cash flow position, because you will be able to purchase tickets in advance of the game, either online or over the phone. Pretty easy. There'll be a few methods to do that. And you can choose. So for those that are not particularly tech savvy, it doesn't mean that you won't be able to access the system. And this is what I like about it. So if you purchase a ticket, you can grab it on the phone, so that it comes through to your phone as an email ticket, and then you can use your phone to scan in. You could use that same email ticket to print it off at home and use the printout to scan in. You can come down to the office and you can purchase a normal thermal ticket that you would get on any game day, take that away with you, and then on game day, come back with your ticket and scan in. The whole time there's a record of you making your purchase. So if there's any issues, we can always reissue your tickets and cancel the previous ones, and so on and so forth. One of the nice features, again, is brand new season passes. Rather than your ticket books, you'll actually have a season pass card, which we're really excited about. We're looking at the designs of those now. And then we upload all your season ticket games onto that, and you just scan in for every one that you've effectively purchased. One of the big things for this system is that we want to change behaviour, and we have to, because what we can't do as a club, the size of our resource, is have both home and away fans descend on us who have not purchased a ticket, and then overburden a ticket office or the general office on game day. So we're going to be wanting to incentivise people to buy early, purchase it online, take that pressure off us from a resource point of view, and then you can just arrive at your own leisure knowing that you've already got your ticket and you don't have to wait in long queues. So really excited about the flexibility that future ticketing is going to bring, and it will integrate in both the website as well as Facebook as well. So in a nice, simple platform to use, massively encouraged by it. And from the first game back, whether that's pre-season, whether that's cup games or league season, we will be running under a future ticketing system. It will be COVID ready. We can have allocated seating in the stadium, and it will also track and trace enable, so that we know every customer, every fan that's in the stadium with us. So there'll be no awkwardness around filling in potential forms and things like that. So really looking forward to working with future ticketing, as I've just said. I'll just pause because I'm sure there might be a few questions. Just offloaded quite a lot of information on there, but really excited by it. No hands come up yet, so that's fine. If anybody does think of anything, there will be plenty of information around how to access this when it comes in via the website, via social media, and of course, once we do launch season tickets and tickets, you'll hear about pricing and a lot more information at the time. By all means, keep your questions to the end as well. So I just want to pass over back to Andy, and more importantly over to the head coach, who I'm sure everybody is dying to hear from. It's been some time that we've seen and heard from Matt. So welcome Matt, and welcome Andy, welcome back.
How are you doing? Yeah, so I'm just really excited about the squad that we're starting to build for next season. I think there's been some, there's been some challenging times recently. Andy's been a real breath of fresh air for the club. With the recruitment that we've done, for this season is really exciting. we identified that we needed a more aggressive pack. We needed to get forward better. So we identified Joel Shearer, who's been at the club before. Really excited about that signing. And also we've got Gav Benyon there as well, 6'5", 17 stone, another one who's been at the club before. And these are players that, when we looked at the players to sign, we didn't just look at the talent, we looked at the character. Are they coming? Are they going to embrace a tough environment? Are they going to work hard? Have they got a good work ethic? Have they got a fire in the belly to win? Is the most important thing when we looked at these players. And I think, with them two leading the way up front, I think it'll lead us in a good direction up the field, because you really want to dominate that middle third this year with this new rule coming in.
I think we lost Andy a little bit, Matt.
Sorry, Steve. I'm back with you. Sorry, Steve.
Good stuff, mate. Matt, just following on from me, you just mentioned a few of the players. What have the lads been up to? 7 months now without any rugby league. Can you give us a bit of a flavour as to how you've been keeping them occupied?
Yeah, it's been really tough, really. We've been setting them. We got them all to download Strava. We've been setting them 5K runs to do and stuff like that. We've had little pies on Zoom. We've had fancy dress pies and stuff like that to try and keep morale high in the camp. And we've been setting them tests to do and things like that, off the field. But there's only so much running you can do, really. You need to get a ball in the hand, really. We've had a little bit of a setback now with this recent lockdown again. But if you look on the positive side of it, hopefully we're still going to have all of December, all of January and all of February. So there's still 3 months there to play with. And from a selfish point of view, from a coaching point of view, it's probably better for me not having them friendlies in January and February. I know it's not very good for revenue for the club. But them games are really dour affairs in January and February. The weather's poor. You can't really play the sort of rugby that you want to play. So we'll be starting playing in March. The weather will be better. I think it's better all around for us.
Martin, I just wanted to, you mentioned a few players there that we've recently brought in. And I wonder whether I can just bring Andy into the conversation here, because the club's moved on significantly since previous ownership. And we did things very differently but back in that model. So Andy, Matt, could you explain, just how do we go about our recruitment for the talented players that you're currently bringing in?
Yeah, I think in terms of obviously the recruitment and the strategy behind the recruitment, Matt's obviously got a philosophy and a way he wants to, play and essentially an identity for his team. And the recruitment was all about getting the right people into that mix and to fit Matt's philosophy. So, there's a couple of different ways that we work in that, opportunities, potential players coming available will be presented to either Matt or to myself, and if they're presented to me, I will then pass that to Matt, and he'll look, and if that fits into his, his philosophy and it's something he wants, then we pursue them. At the same time, Matt will bring players to the table and say, this is the kind of player we need to bring to the club in terms of the likes of your Gavin Benyons and your Rob Fairclough, etc., and some of the recruitment we've done. The guys that, obviously that Matt believes that could add quality and add strength to what we've got, and that's the way we work, basically. Obviously within a budget, and recruitment's challenging. It's very challenging to drive value for the money that we've got. It's a pretty onerous task, and we work really hard on that. We never want to be beat to the punch, so we're always out of bed early and we're up late at night, and that's the way we work. I think Matt's and I must mention Martin as well. Martin Hall, although he's he's pretty remote at the moment in terms of where he's living, he does help and support us where he can. And I think from a footballing perspective, we've got a real tight unit, and I think we're really comfortable with the work that we've done and the recruitment we've done this year, readying ourselves for 21. I think that'll be ongoing. Matt's, we're talking about players now that could potentially come in years to come, because that's the way we're looking. We want to be talking about long term, and if there's players there that would fit in the mix that we've got with this real hungry group that Matt's got. We want to be looking wherever we can to improve and always be looking at the longer term rather than just the short.
Thanks, Andy. And Matt, you mentioned earlier the new players coming in, but just how important is it to extend the contracts of existing players in the squad, the likes of Calland, Marriott, recently announced Ben Moores this week as well, experienced players. Any thoughts on that you can share?
Yeah, I mean, the focus is on creating a tough environment and getting a winning culture. You know, and with players like, you know, seasoned pros like Tankovic, really important we got him signed. You know, I think with this new rule, it's all about quick rucks and your eyes jumping out. I think it's going to suit his style of play. You know, he's getting on a bit now, so we need to wrap him in cotton wool. But we're getting on the back of that, we need to get forward so we can get the quick play the balls for him. And I think with the players we've recruited, you know, we've got a monster pack now. We've got a really good pack. If you look at back, when I first got the job, we was recruiting players out of the national conference. So, you know, and the players, the calibre of player we're getting now is far higher since Andy's come to the club. It's been like a breath of fresh air for me. And there's with the squad we've got now, the strength and depth in every position. So they'll all be fighting off for the spots, and I think that's what you need to create a winning culture.
You talk about that culture, Matt. So what are the goals and the focus for this season? Obviously difficult training at the moment, but just generically, where are you hoping to finish and what do you want to achieve?
Well, the focus is obviously to get promotion. And I think to do that, we've got to create that winning culture. And it's not easy if you look at the logistics of the league. There's some really some really hard journeys there. You've got to go up to Workington, you've got to go up to Barra, you've got to go up to Newcastle, you know. So and if you look how Keighley have strengthened their squad and Doncaster as well. So it's going to be a really tough division. It's not going to be easy by, you know, we don't think it's going to be easy, but we think with the squad we've built, you know, and if we can have a really good pre-season and hit the ground running, there's no reason why we can't be up there at the end of the season.
That sounds good. Sounds good, Matt. Thanks for sharing with that. And you mentioned about a big pack. So in terms of what the club's doing today, we want to really shout about some of these big things we're doing. So it's my absolute privilege to lead on to our second big announcement. Wow, I mean, this guy really does need very little introduction. We're massively stoked to be able to announce a new player coming into the squad. Somebody that's well respected in the game, has a lot of experience, formerly of Workington Town, Leigh, Toronto, Parramatta Eels, having scored a try in the NRL Grand Final. Guys, take a look at this.
Hi guys, it's Fuifu Moi Moi. I'm looking forward to join the Hornets 2021. Can't wait to work with Matt and his coaching and stuff. And can't wait to meet the fans. So one more smash. Let's go. Oh. I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the 30 like blood. So I got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful. And I got plenty of bread, so I go to bed full of life. In it to win it, I'm all in. I might call you my cuz, young blood, but when it can. You think the joke man, you best take the game. The 30, I'm the type of man that might go broke from revenge. Have some not so nice friends, kick the dough off the head. Take the dough off your bed, pop up my phone of your friends, man, please. This is race cynical. Me no subliminal, I'm physical, financial, and
Kingston, Kingston, good stuff, coach. Got him back out there.
did it better when he knew he sold his butter. He ain't never been a fighter. You can go and ask his mother. I'm a lover and a fighter. I'm saying a writer. Give your girl a quick fix and give your man a nice shiner. You know, I don't really want it. I can tell just by looking at you that you the type to run and go and tell just by looking at you. You on a mission for recognition by dissing. Didn't have no problem till the record started breaking. But I don't really want it. So let me tell you the deal. I'm also serious. I'm dirty. I'm no longer for real. I'm like I'm skipping the jump. I'm clock grip on the pump. I'm leaving you in the trunk. Somewhere prepared to come. But I don't really want it. So quit acting like you're dead. I'm looking to my right. Trying to see who's there so hard. You better watch it before I stick to the plan and be the next artist to run up in your stand. Like, yeah. Here comes the y'all don't really want it. Y'all don't really want it with me.
3-3 the signing there. I'll ask Matt a few questions for the fans on that signing. Matt, a player with more than 200 NRL appearances, just talk us through the thought process of signing 3-3 Moy.
You say that again? Sorry, there's some interference.
Just talk us through the process of the signing of 3-3.
Oh, flipping heck. Well, he's good mates with Sean Penkovic from playing at Workington with him. And he had nothing but good words to say about him. And it started from there early. Then I think Andy knew him from his time at Leigh. And the ball got rolling there early. And then it happened really quickly. In the space of about 2 or 3 weeks.
And in terms of the squad, what is it that you think he sort of brings to the squad in 2021?
Oh, it's going to be invaluable. I mean, I know you can look at his age, but anybody who's played for 10 seasons in the NRL, you know, he's an absolute legend of the game. You know, I think he'll be invaluable off the field because he's a larger-than-life character, as you've just seen on the video there, with him running into the crowd after he scored. I think he'll be really good. I know that the young props are really excited, getting a bit giddy about the thought of working with Fui. You've got young props at the club. James Connaughton and Adam Escott and all them sorts of players will learn lots off Fui, I think, in training.
And as you say, there's already a buzz at the club, but with this signing, there's more of a buzz now, especially with players. As you say, I know Gavin Benyon was a fan. The buzzing to get working with him.
Well, yeah, I'm excited about working with him. He's played under some world-class coaches. You know, he's played under like Daniel Anderson, Ricky Stewart, Stephen Kerr, them sort of people. So, I'm always learning as a coach. There might be some things you can add to my game as well as a coach.
Andy, I'll just ask you a few questions. As the board, an exciting addition to the squad for 2021, and someone who should hopefully bring sort of fans in the stadium next year. Yeah, absolutely. I think his name's iconic, isn't it, in rugby league? You know, he's a brand in his own right. He's an iconic brand of himself, and I think there's two parts to the signing, really, as Matt's just said. I think it adds real impact on the field and off the field as well. You know, he's we're trying to build an identity in our town and community, and give some of the younger guys some profile characters to look up to. And I think with Fui and Joe and Gavin and all the guys, and we're having a strong set of local players as well. You know, that's key to our identity. So everything brought together, some of the parts really, Fui's a nice piece in the jigsaw, and it's one, I'm really excited about him coming. And I think the one last smash, he's quite famous for, I know when he arrived at Leigh, he was basically, it was a big thing that people caught on to. He loved the smash, and I think with him coming to Rochdale really now, and it being a big, one last smash, I think that's really going to be something that some of the younger fans will hopefully pick up on and use as a bit of a strap line with Fui, yeah. And Rochdale, the club, the building on this new era type culture, Andy, which is one reason for players to be excited, and I suppose a good way of bringing them into the club is this new era and this exciting future the club's got.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's more than just words. We're not trying to sell something that's not attractive. I think the team that Matt's putting together, and we've worked hard to put together, is exciting. It's a real hard competition, League One, but we believe that we can be in the mix and really competing and going as strong as we possibly can. And I think everything about the club, we've sort of gone about the building blocks we believe are in place. The new era is exciting. I think it's a club that can really, regardless of which direction the sport takes and any structure changes moving forward or wherever the game is beyond TV broadcast negotiations, we believe that this club has got the key ingredients to be able to, if we keep working hard and everybody stays behind the vision, we believe we can adapt and be one of the clubs that comes through.
And just before we came on air, Andy, you mentioned how big sponsorship was in bringing in Fufu Moi Moi. Do you just want to touch on that quickly?
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to name check a couple of people as well, because obviously I mentioned one of the earlier questions was around central funding. We're aware that there's cuts for next season, so we've budgeted sensibly. And in order to, Matt was keen to bring Fui in order to do that, there was a spend which was slightly outside of the budget. And, the way we operate is that if we're going to spend outside of the budget, it's got to be, it's got to be sustainable and got to be, an additional revenue coming. And we've fortunately had some sponsors who've stepped up to the plate to assist us with it. So Hamilton Fabrications, big name check there to Phil Penkovic, who's going to be Fui's sponsor. We really appreciate Phil's support. We've got a pool of guys who are, a combination of lifelong fans and past sponsors and directors who've come back, which is very encouraging. So I'd like to just thank John Nicholson. And I'd like to also thank Mickey Miller of a company who will need no introduction with Rochdale Hornets, British Miller Inn. Mickey has kindly put some, put some sponsorship towards the Fui deal, and there's a couple of other guys as well. Who we've got, Gareth Walker, who everybody again will know. Gareth assisted us, and Martin Hall as well. So I'd like to thank those guys for coming and supporting us on that, and we'll look forward, obviously, to introducing them to Fui and them coming back, coming down to the club and being part of the family again.
Thanks, Andy. And one last one for Matt. You've got some sort of headache for next season choosing your starting squad, your starting forward pack.
Yeah, well, it's a good headache to have, isn't it? I think there's always injuries and there's always people who dip in form, so they'll all be fighting off for a spot. And I just can't wait for training to start now. Hopefully, it'll be in the first week in December. Fingers crossed.
Cheers. Thanks both.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Fantastic announcement. Really pleased to be doing something completely different to the norm. We absolutely do lead forward in how we try and move and announce things, and no bigger than Fufu Moi Moi joining Rochdale Hornets for 2021. I'm really pleased to introduce our director, Tony Sheridan, to discuss what is effectively our third announcement. Loads of announcements tonight, so there's 5 in total. We're on 3. Tony, do you want to? Well, this is going to be a big one, I think, for fans. Do you want to take us through this one?
Yeah, we've actually got a logo change, and people will be very, very glad to know it's not as drastic as some other changes that has been announced over the last 24 hours in Rugby League. When we just put a bit of context behind this, if I may, all we've done really is we've taken the current Rochdale Hornets logo, and we found that it was very difficult to apply, whether it be through merchandising, whether it was through shirts and various things, because of the 3D effect. So all we've done really is we've cleaned it. And one of the reasons that we've done that is when the very first meeting we had as a new board with the fans, we did talk around and still do the one team, one dream. And one of the things that we noticed, there's throughout the whole structures of rugby through the club, whether it be from via the foundation, through academies, to disability teams, ladies teams, and the first team, people were playing under different banners in effect. And one thing we want to do is make sure that anyone who's involved with Rochdale Hornets, we play under the same badge and really start to live the one team, one dream philosophy. And that's one of the reasons that we wanted to make sure that we had just a very clean, more modern aspect of the already popular logo. And what that's enabled us to do is make sure that we have conformity across everything we do. So we really do become a bit more of a consistency in terms of branding, whether it be, like I said, on the shirts, wherever on websites, digital, in print, in media, wherever you see Rochdale Hornets to be represented under that one badge. So I think it's a really not just a strong brand piece for us, but I think from an emotive perspective, it means that everybody who is involved with Rochdale will wear that badge on their chest, especially if they're playing for the club. So we're I think we're delighted to do that, and I think it's just in some initial groups that have we've explained it to. I think that's gone down very well, and hope that will be received very well. Nothing, like I said, nothing drastic. I think it's just given us an opportunity to be able to use it across multiple applications. You'll have seen on the first slide the second logo, if we can go to that page, Steve, that will be part of our representation for our 100th year anniversary. When we do see the kits, you'll see both of our logos were shown tonight represented on the kits, and one is in respect of the history of Rochdale, and many fans will recognise this logo's variant has been used on kits over the years. But what we've found, there's been disparity in different usages of this logo format on various shirts. But wanting to give a nod to the cotton and iron industries and really build into the historic overview of what this represents for Rochdale as a whole. We have made some amendments to it, so it's a unique version for our 150th anniversary. And like I mentioned, we will see this on both our home and away shirts this year, which I think when fans do get an opportunity to see those, we've had our sneak peeks. I think everyone will be very excited about that, and there'll be more about that in the future. So again, I hope this goes well. We'll see this again starting to be used across all platforms and across merchandise, and obviously there'll be another logo variant that will be utilised, which represents the 150th anniversary of just ourselves, but also of the building structure that sits right in the middle of Rochdale, the town hall, which also celebrates its 150th anniversary this year. So we're excited about just having some real true representation of some modernistic going forward, but keeping real tight hold on the historical aspects and the celebration of our 150th anniversary.
Thanks, Tony. Delivered brilliantly, and I'd be really interested to see if what the feedback is. Hopefully, at the end, questions from people. But just making again that distinction. Our badge, fit for purpose, modern era. Our crest, a nod to our history and heritage. And what a fantastic way in our 150th year, our anniversary celebrations, to be launching a new crest that will sit on the breast of the 2021 shirt, that celebratory shirts, and so you'll be able to see both proudly displayed on the kits this year. Thanks for that one, Tony. When we talk about kit for 2021, and our fourth major announcement would be right, and it would be proper for us to be big and be bold, and we've been in discussions for some time with various different partners, and I'm absolutely pleased today to be announcing that our kit, apparel and merchandise partner for next year will be none other than SuproSport. Fantastic to have a brand attached to the club, a new brand that will take us forward into a celebratory year. And I want to pick out a few of the main pieces really as to why we've chosen Supro to be our premium partner for the next 2 years. And what excited us, myself in particular, and the rest of the guys in the club and in the boardroom, was that there's a huge range of official teamwear that will be launching in the club shop, the Hornet shop, coming at the end of November. And it'll encompass both official teamwear, 1871 branded garments, merchandise, things like your cups, coasters, pens, keyrings. And so we are partnering, if you like, with Supro because we know that the quality's there and that can deliver on a wide range of things that we know as a club our fans are dying to get their hands on. So that was the first thing. And when we look around, Supro now have been operating in Rugby League and have a proven track record for delivering high quality Rugby League garments. They currently provide into both the championship market at the moment. And so I believe we'll be the third Rugby League club working with them on this particular platform, and really excited by that. Some of the things for the fans to really get involved with and be part of and understand is that the fans will be able to get bespoke customer orders and customizations. And what we mean by that is you always had to wait a little bit longer, if at all, or go to a third party to get your name embroidered on shirts or printed on backs of shirts with numbers and things like that. And we're pleased that Supro can actually bring that, and not just as a print, but as a sublimation as well. So the look and feel of having a replica garment delivered with your name sublimated and a number sublimated into the shirt is something that we're really, really pleased to be able to share with the fans. New online shop coming. So that'll be integrated into the website, and we're looking around the end of November. So fans are encouraged to keep an eye out so that they can go directly to the website and make their purchases. And what we're keen to stress with here is, and this is despite, as I mentioned earlier, the challenges we had around commercially, Supro are working with us with the really tight deadlines that we have. And we've been able to work with them to make sure that those initial orders that come in at the end of November, they will be delivered in time for Christmas. And that's something for Hornets we've not been able to do in the last few years. So we're really excited that you guys, when you're buying your first orders end of November, that is in time for Christmas. And what we're going to do is, once that shop launches, that will coincide with our 2021 kit launch. So unfortunately today, we're not going to be able to share with you the completed kit, but at the end of the month, that's something we're excited to be able to launch. So welcome to Supro. Going to be a fantastic relationship and partnership as we move into 2021 and 2022. And I just want to, from here, kind of pass over to Josh, who very kindly agreed to join us. And Josh has been acting as our media manager for the club this year. First time he's been with us with Hornets, and I'm sure you'd all agree he's doing a fantastic job. And I said to Josh sort of earlier in the week, what are the key things, the key messages that you want to pick out, and would you mind sharing with the audience? And he was really keen to do that. He understands it better than anybody in the club. And so I'll pass over to Josh to give us a bit of an update and a couple of requests, I think. Josh, over to you.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for the kind words. Hi, everyone. I'm Josh. Just a little bit about me. I joined the club ahead of the 2020 season alongside the new board. There's a small media team of some very hardworking guys who I know have continued to produce some very good content for the club, which hopefully everyone's been enjoying so far, and it's been good, even while there's been no games. During lockdown, we launched the club's official podcast, which we hope fans are enjoying. Hopefully these will become more regular as there's games next season, and we'll get sort of players have been featuring on every single one, so hopefully they become more regular and players will continue to feature on them, and hopefully that's something that's quite exciting for fans and quite different as well. And I'm not sure of many League One and Championship clubs that have their own club podcast, so hopefully that's quite exciting for fans. And as well, this year we relaunched the newsletter, The Hornet, which has been going well. Again, hopefully that becomes a bit more regular when there's games and when we have a season and more to report on. But hopefully, you know, fans again have been enjoying that, and it's again something different. Big credit to the players too, who have helped with all content during these tough times. They've always offered to help, and they've always said yes when asked to join us on the podcast or video content or anything really. So big thanks to the players as well, and big thanks to everyone in the media team that have been helping. I've got here why is media important? Important because it helps with the ROI model, which I know Richard Hayes, a director, went through last time, so I'll only quickly touch on it. But it's important that fans continue to engage with us on all social media, because this helps with the ROI, return on investment, from the RFL and central funding. We've got to submit engagement statistics, I think every 12 months, and they keep an eye on how it's going. So that's very important for the club, and fans have been good engaging. And just a few statistics here: Instagram followers, we've got just over 1,500. Facebook likes 5,608, which is a very good number. Twitter followers 9,595, which is always going up and down. And YouTube subscribers 263. So on Twitter we're ranked 8th in League One. So this is just something that we need to continue to push on. The media team wants to create as much exciting and exclusive content as we can, and obviously we and the fans have the same thing in common. We all want to push the brand and the name of Rochdale Hornets, which is something we have in common. You know, we want to help fill that stadium, and we want to get fans excited, and we want to produce content that they want to see and engage with. And then again, this helps the club on ROI and central funding, which is very important. Podcast, as it says there, the average listener, 63 listeners per episode, accessible through Audio Boom, Spotify. That's nothing with ROI at the moment. ROI at the minute, I think, just relates to Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So it's very important that fans create accounts on there. It's easy to do. I know not all fans like Twitter, or they might not like Facebook, or vice versa. But it's very important that fans continue to follow us on these social channels, and they engage and they like and they retweet what we're sharing. Not just because we like to see our own work going viral, but because it's very good for the club. And in terms of our league, we're 22nd at the minute on the list in Championship and League One. And again, like social media, this is very important. Our league helps with central funding and return on investment from the RFL governing body. And you know, the stronger we can be on our league, the stronger our relationship will be with the RFL, the stronger ROI and central funding can be. And again, a misconception I think about our league is that it's an app. Thanks, Steve. And it's not just an app. You can sign up just via a normal web browser. It takes 2 seconds. You put in your email address, password, and you just register your free account. It is free. As I say, it takes 2 minutes, if that. And again, this really helps benefit the clubs. And there's lots of benefits of our league. As it says there, live stream Rugby League matches, which Rochdale was on the end of at the start of the season with our own league game against Keighley. You've got exclusive video and news, which is, there's no better time to sign up than now with Super League and being behind closed doors, and then the World Cup coming up, which is obviously exciting for everyone in Rugby League and Rochdale and our links with Fiji. You've got the R League Predictor, the Super League Dream Team, competitions, play of the match polls, which is for every televised game, rewards, and as I say, it's very easy to sign up. There's a link on the website, and we hope that fans can continue to support the club. You know, Andy's talked about how important fans and sponsors and supporters have been for the club, especially in this unprecedented times. And what fans can do now is sign up to the R League, get on Twitter, get on Facebook, share everything that we post, and we're open to ideas as well. Tweet us, let us know what you want to see more of. We'll hopefully produce more of whatever you want, whatever will help us engage more with the fans. We will help. We'll produce. That's something that we want to do. So yeah, that's about it from me. Just literally just 2 minutes and about the importance of it. So get signed up to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, get liking, sharing, following us, and get on the R League app or on the web browser. It's not just an app. It takes 2 seconds to sign up, and then you choose Rochdale Hornets as your club, and it really helps support the club. Yeah. So thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Josh. That was an excellent summary. And I just want to offer, and I'm sure Andy will offer his sentiments as well here, that we've got a really good media team, but there's a special thanks that needs to go to yourself, Josh, and to Luke Harrison as well, who works on the graphics. It's really important that the fans know that 99% of the content that's written, that's put out there on Facebook and Twitter, Josh is managing that content and the rest of the guys in the team. It's really engaging. It's really exciting. Even in a period where we've had no rugby league, I think our social media has been the best in Championship and League One. And that's no small thanks to Josh. And by equal measure, some of the graphics that we are turning out day in, day out, Luke, just incredible at bringing fresh ideas, new designs, turning them around quickly, often on demand. Sometimes he doesn't get a long time for signing a player, and we need something within an hour. And really responsive, world class is how I would choose to describe both. So I just want to say thank you to you both. Keep doing a great job. We're going in the right way.
Cheers, Steve.
We are absolutely pleased again. Our fifth and final announcement, and then we'll turn this over a little bit to the fans. Unfortunately, the gent who we were hoping to be with us tonight, Alex Orange, who is the chair of the Official Supporters Association, has run into some difficulties, some technical difficulties. I've been trying behind the scenes just to grab him, but unfortunately it's not happened. And so we are just going to push on a little bit without Alex. But he'll be absolutely gutted to miss this next section. But hopefully you guys will be pleased to see that, as per the original mandate, we were really keen to bring a new Official Supporters Association, supporters club for all fans. And we're really pleased here to launch the name of that and a corresponding logo in all Hornets, the Official Supporters Club. Why is that important? So if you remember, we've spoken at a number of forums around why we want to do it. And this is a little bit about, you'll understand that we've had lots of fans from different ideas and different angles, and not always have we been able to bring everybody together. But All Hornets is absolutely the name that drives people together, and it's going to play a massive part in our future for Rochdale Hornets. Alex, at the moment, is the representative. He will represent you, the fans, your voices and opinions. He'll be engaging with you at every opportunity, and he'll make sure that you as fans have your voice heard by the board, and you help shape the future for the club moving forward. And so when Alex sat down with this, and when we talked about, well, what do we want All Hornets to actually do? What are the priorities? And our focus is really, at the moment, is built around delivering on three things that we think we can do here and now. So one is around events. Obviously, people can't be in attendance for various things, but we're thinking about the 2021 piece. And we know at some point in 2021, we will be able to get together. We'll be able to share each other's company, and we'll be able to celebrate 150 years of Rochdale Hornets as a club, representing the town and the community. And so supporters events are massively important to connection with the club and to each other within the fan base. So that's something that's going to be a huge priority for the supporters club moving forward. Fundraising events is something that we're about to embark on, and I'm sure Matt couldn't just come off mute and just tell us a little bit about his idea. One of the things that's going to be coming up is perhaps the first fundraising event that people can get behind, with Matt and the lads. We've talked about a bike challenge. Matt, do you want to just give us a bit of a flavour as to what that looks like?
Well, I did one when I was at Mayfield for a couple of the guys that went on tour. Went to Blackpool and back. It was about 120, 130 miles. I think it took me about 9 hours. I got 3 punches. But yeah, I'm hoping to do one to raise some money from the club. I'm not decided what to do yet. I was thinking of maybe going to coast or something like that. I'll have to decide what I'm going to do yet. But I'm definitely game to do it.
That sounds great, Matt. We're looking forward to that. And I think from a club perspective, it's great that we're going to be able to raise money for the club, but we'll also be raising money for our own charitable foundation, because what's really important from a foundation's viewpoint is that we continue to invest in rugby league in the town. And so the challenge and the fundraising is twofold. When we're looking forward to coming up with a plan, getting that out there for you guys to get involved with. So thanks for that, Matt. Really good idea.
No problem.
And I guess one of the things that we've also talked about as to what the priority should be for the Supporters Club is the squad builder. We launched this back in March at a difficult time, if you remember, because we haven't been able to get around a table and see you guys at a stadium. And we changed an old membership package, if you like, and we were looking to build a group of fans that could share in the squad builder, helping raise funds so that we, ourselves and Matt, could use that investment and put it into marquee players, bringing them into the club. And we're managing to bring some fairly big names into the club, as you've seen tonight. But what's important is making this fund as big as possible so that it's for the future. But unfortunately, the squad builder itself has not stalled, but it stayed static. So we haven't had any new members, and perhaps that's understandable given the circumstances. So I just want to, raise that with all the fans. We're going to put this under your remit, under the Supporters Club. It's not a club initiative. It's absolutely about what you guys can do with the club. But it's effectively a squad builder that you can raise money, be successful in generating some investment into the squad, and being very transparent about where that's spent, so that the club itself moving forward can continue to benefit from bringing the best players into the club in the league. So how can you become involved? Well, there's a couple of ways at the moment. We're pleased this evening to be able to offer you an email address. So please express an interest, drop Alex an email, and a couple of reasons you might do that. One is around wanting to help out from a committee position and assist in running the fans club. You can appreciate that running events and fundraisers takes time, takes energy. And so there's an open invitation to anybody out there to get in touch with Alex via the email address, put your name forward, and come and get involved. As of today, the Twitter account has been set up, and of course there's a Facebook page as well. And there'll be lots of information on both the Twitter and the Facebook. And so some of this information will be posted in there post-webinar, so you can kind of reflect on it and ultimately, hopefully, you come and join in and get involved as a member. We're keen to make sure that this also has some benefits financially, and so we think and we know that as a supporters club that it has to give back to its members. So there is an introduction annual membership fee of £18.71. I'm sure the savvy ones in the room will understand why it's that. It's nice fitting with a 150-year anniversary. And let's not forget the £5 per month squad builder to help with the squad development. So becoming a member of the supporters club, it's costing you as little as £18.71 for the year. We've come up with some incentives, and so we will be rolling out with Supro new supporters pin badges for 2021 for everybody that signs up on the membership. We mentioned about the future ticketing system earlier, so we do have the ability to produce new membership cards, and we're giving access to those cards to Alex and the Supporters Association so that you can all have a new shiny card that states that you're a part of the official supporters club. We launched the Squad Builder prizes. Again, that's something that the supporters club is going to lead on, distribution of prizes. And we're keen to listen to ideas from the fans as to what you might like to see. Club discounts, so there will be specific events and club discounts for those that are part of the club. And one of the things that we're really keen to drive is discounts through our partners and our commercial family. We want you guys and the fans to spend more money or choose the services that you rely on from our commercial partners. And I'll give you an example. Kia Premier, for example, have been a long-standing partner with us for a number of years. And we do know that fans go and buy cars from Kia, which is fantastic. But you can also get many of the services like, for example, a winter checkup. You can pop along to Kia and use those guys. And so people like Kia will be offering discounts. But one of the ones that I want to launch tonight, if you like, alongside the membership, is one of the biggest supporters of this club over many, many years. They continue to be our catering company at the stadium. Is none other than Quirky Catering. And so all Hornets members, as part of the partnership with the Quirky Catering Group, is you can receive 10% off your food bill across those pubs that are listed. These are some fantastic pubs and restaurants across Rochdale. And so again, we're absolutely keen for you guys to become a member, claim your 10% off food, and get along and support local businesses as part of our offering and as part of our commercial family. I think that's a really fantastic offer. I'm really excited to be partnering with Quirky Catering again for next season. That's it in terms of the webinar, and I think we've gone through a lot there. I hope you've really enjoyed it. It's been exciting. So I'm just going to pause. I'm sure there's lots of questions to be asked of any of the panel. If I just ask the panel to take the mute buttons off, hopefully not in the background, and I'm just going to throw it open for some questions. So let me just see if anybody is asking anything.
Oh, can you see how?
No, there's no questions coming in at the moment. I tell you what I can do is I'm just going to pick out a couple of comments that have come in from Facebook. Alan says, absolutely class. During his time at Workington, we're gutted to lose him. Exactly the same as Penke was for us. Really pleased. So he's basically praising Fufu Moi Moi for coming in. There's quite a lot of comments coming our way about Fufu Moi Moi, so really excited about that. Mike Bull comment, great update, new versus modern, well done team, and that's about the logos, I'm guessing. Jeff Hurst, good news to see the Rochdale crest back where it should be. Kevin Tatlock, tongue-in-cheek, I think, better start saving up now. Thanks, Kev, your support's always been great. Ina Myers, one person who would be chuffed to see the crest back on the shirt will be Raymond. Well done, everybody involved. And I think that's a really great comment from Ina. We'll always remember Ray, and so fantastic to have her feedback as well. Got a few questions coming in now. Let's just see if I can access them. Ian Kuplux has always got his hand up, so I'm just going to bring him in. Ian, can you hear us okay? Hi, Ian. Can you hear us okay? No, Ian. Well, let's see if we can move on to somebody else. Ian, try now. How about that?
Yeah.
There he
Can I
is.
ask a question to Matt?
Yeah.
I know the squad's never completed, but what sort of positions are you still looking to fulfil for the coming season?
Can you say that again? Sorry, I couldn't quite hear.
I said we know the squad is never complete, but what positions are you still looking to fill for next season?
We're pretty much up there at the moment. We've got really good strength in depth. I mean, if you look at the hooking position, we've got Sean Penkovic. We've just re-signed Ben Moore, and we've also got two local lads, Declan Sheridan and Callum Ogden. And in the middles, we've got 5 or 6 decent front rowers now. I guess you could say we're probably maybe looking for an outside back. We haven't got much strength in depth in the centres, really. We've got Jackie Easton and obviously Ben Calland. But other than that, we haven't got that much backup. We've got a young lad who just signed from Hotwood Hall called Dan Nixon. I'm hoping for big things from him. He can maybe play there if needed. But I'd say we're probably still on the lookout for another outside back, really.
Okay. I don't know this question for you, Matt, or for Andy. Andy, I spoke to you last year briefly about Jamie Tracy, and I know you spoke very highly of him.
Yes.
He's now gone back to Sato Heath. Is that a choice of his or a choice of the club?
It was a choice of Jamie, really. His circumstances changed in terms of his work patterns. So he went over to night shifts, and I think in terms of travelling, etc., he just felt that he would. And I think he was being honest. He played a long time at Sato Heath and with his mates there, and he asked the club for a release, and we didn't stand in his way really. So disappointed, because I know Matt rated Jamie, and I've known Jamie a long time, and I felt that he really would step up to League One level and Championship. But I think, yeah, all things told, he just felt that he'd like to go back and play with his mates, and we couldn't really stand in his way.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
I've got a few more questions coming in on Facebook, so I'll just read them out and allocate them accordingly. Beth Harris. Beth's actually one of our ladies team players. A lot's been touched on about the men. What about the ladies team in 2021? Are we going to be more present at the stadium? Possible games there with post-match interaction would be really good and rewarding. Matt does this with the lads. So, great question. More about the ladies' side, and we did talk about having ladies and wheelchair all under one brand. So it's really nice that somebody's asking in equal measure about our ladies' team, which is just as important to the club.
It's something we're really proud of, Beth. It was one of the, when one of the attractive things for me about the club was the fact that we had a ladies' team, the fact that we had a disabilities team, an active foundation, and we were more than just a men's first team operating in the League One. So it's something that we're really proud of. The brand refresh, the improvements on the brand have all been about so that when we do get back moving, that everybody under that umbrella, the ladies, the wheelchair team, and everybody's connected. The academy, we're going to unite the brand because we're really proud. We're really proud of what Matt does at Oxford and the academy, and it's all being pulled together. So, in answer to your question, the utopia for myself and the board, and for everybody connected, is to have every, the ladies, the wheelchair, everything under the umbrella. Be really proud of it, and we're going to shout from the rooftops. I think COVID's unfortunately, it's taken the legs from under us this year in a lot of things we wanted to do. But yeah, we've not lost sight whatsoever in terms of that. On the contrary, it's built into the thought process of the branding, and everything we're doing is around us being, we're one club, we're one big, everything under one roof and one big family, aren't we?
Thanks, Andy. I'll just pick up on the last bit. Yes, it is always possible to get back in the stadium if fixtures allow, Beth, so that's something we're always keen to promote. Obviously, the COVID situation, the ladies team falls under the community directives, And so there'll be additional information that comes out from the head coach and the foundation on that. But at the moment, we just having to pause and take stock of the situation from a grassroots and a participation, and also from a community perspective. But as soon as we get the nod, we fully expect the ladies to be back in regular training, both at Hopwood, our training centre, great partners, Hopwood Hall College, in the facilities that they provide. And we're looking forward to getting you guys back in training as quickly as possible. A couple more questions. Mike Bull, certainly not a club that shies away from difficult questions. Mike Bull asks, Andy Lee has been reported in the media as being given a ban for banned substances. We've not heard anything official from the club. Are there any comments?
Yeah, we wouldn't put a statement out about that. I think it's been picked up in the media via the UCADA website. So obviously that's a personal thing that the player was tested. Unfortunately, it's been a positive test, and he's been obviously in communication with UCADA and notified of that. And that's not something we would, I don't think it's protocol that the club would put a release out on that. These things that, on a regular occurrence on UCADA website, the update around athletes who've unfortunately tested positive. So yeah, it's not something we would actually put a statement out on. I think it was just picked up in the press, and consequently fans have become aware of it. But it's not something we would sing from the rooftops about for obvious reasons.
Yeah, and just to add to that as well, Mike, as a club, obviously we were very aware of the situation, and you'll appreciate that the club can't always discuss matters in relation to individual players. As a club, we've really supported Andy, both Matt and the backroom staff, through what's been a difficult time for him in relation to this announcement. And we will continue to support Andy where possible as a club. It's obviously very disappointing, but it's something that we have to accept. And unfortunately, Andy Lee won't be part of the 2021 squad, as you well know, due to that ban. Just looking to see if there's any additional questions coming through. I can't see any, Andy, so if I may, can I just pop that back over to you for final comments, closing remarks, Andy, and we'll make it a wrap up there.
Yeah, I think I'd just like to echo everything that's been said tonight about the importance. I think one thing I will just hark back to is the initial fans engagement sessions we had, and I think we were pretty clear as a new team coming in. The only way that we could succeed as a club and achieve what we want to achieve was by unity and everybody pulling in the same direction and everybody stepping up to the plate, and I think that still applies. And with COVID coming along more than ever, so I'd like to again thank everybody for their efforts. I really hope that the regular updates that we're putting out and these sort of things offer comfort that the club is in good hands, and we're trying our best to navigate the choppy waters of COVID and move forward. And just that original message still stands from when we came in and we did the engagement sessions. The town is a big town, but the club's not big enough to have division. So I think all sort of politics issues, call them what you will, still have to stay put to bed, and we can't afford to slip back into anybody coming off the buzz. Everybody's got to stay on this journey, and we've not only got to stay on it, we've got to drag some more people onto the bus and bring them with us. So again, massive big thank you to our commercial partners, our sponsors. Picking up on what Steve said, if you can back these companies who are backing us, I think it's absolutely essential. That we can go in and we can demonstrate we're driving business to the companies that are backing us. That's a massive one to take away. And as you can see, there's some exciting things happening, and the squad's coming together. Matt, we're disappointed that we won't come back as we thought we would do, but certainly Matt's on standby, ready to come back, and the staff and the players are ready to go, champing at the bit. And it's exciting times for Rochdale, aren't it? So big, massive thank you to everybody. Stay with us if you can, get on board with the Supporters Association. And Alex would like people to step forward and support on that, because that one's a big one for the club. So yeah, back us where you can. I appreciate it's difficult times, but anything we can do, you know, anything, that little extra mile that we can all do, it makes a difference, you know. And we're a big family at the end of the day, and families don't always agree with each other. They don't always see eye to eye, but the greater good of the family always comes first, and I think that's what we're all about. So thanks again. Thanks for joining us tonight, and a big thanks to Steve as well for hosting it, and Tony and Josh and Matt for their input, because I think it's been great, you know, to hear exactly, you know, the reasoning behind everything that we're doing, to hear from the guys who are doing it. I think it's very important. So thanks again, all the best, and we look forward to seeing everybody soon.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate that. And that concludes the webinar for 2020. Look forward to seeing you all back in Scotland as soon as we can. Thanks and good night, guys.
Thank you.
Yes, Dave.